Yo, 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 what's going on, people? Welcome to another OTBN NBA recap show brought to you by the good people at SeatGeek.com. SeatGeek, your number one place for all your ticket needs. Make sure to use the promo code Off the Ball Network, all caps, to get $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek.com. We got the NBA season in full swing. Go get go get some money off, some of these expensive NBA tickets. College basketball season, NHL, everything. You want to take your lady out to the play, Broadway, whatever. $20 off your first purchase when you use the promo code Off the Ball Network, all caps at SeatGeek.com. Your number one place for all your ticket needs. But I'm Chris LeBron. I am the host of the Off the Ball podcast, the Get a Bucket podcast, and the owner of the Off the Ball Network. And going to be another great show. We're going to get into all the last night's games and talk, about some rumors going on in the National Basketball Associations. But let's dive right into it with our first game that we're going to discuss. The Orlando Magic 119, the Philadelphia 76ers 109. Sixers with a big letdown. I think they won 7 in a row going into this game, playing really good basketball. We remember, MB going at it with Joker, had it a monster game. That felt personal. That felt personal with all the MVPs that, the two MVPs that, MB, if healthy, probably should have won. But that felt personal. That was a fun matchup to see and all that. But disappointment. Simply a disappointing performance, a letdown, let their guard down. But this Magic team is better. It's better than people are, better than their record shows. I feel like this is a team that is on the rise. And if they hit on the lottery, if they get one or two and they get Scoot or they get a Victor Wembanyama, man. Oh, the Orlando Magic sitting real pretty. Also, if they feel like they're ready to make that move, kind of like what the Cavaliers did last year, making a power move against Donovan Mitchell, they have the pieces to make it. They got pieces that teams would like. A lot of good young pieces that maybe just don't fit right now because there's just an overload maybe at the guard position or forward position, but some good pieces that I think teams would like. But Paolo Banchero, maybe the front runner for rookie of the year at 29 points, 9 rebounds. Joel Embiid, 30 and 11. Um, just Paolo has been just phenomenal for the most of the season. He has been really good, and you know just took care of business. They got the win on the road, and Philly just a big letdown, just a big letdown. You know, Orlando crashed the boys. They had 15 offensive rebounds. They just got the job done. They just wanted it more. And, just a letdown game. It happens. It happens with good teams, especially when you're rolling and all that. And, you just couldn't get that. Philly didn't score much in the fourth quarter, only 19 points in the fourth quarter, just couldn't get a bucket and just not able to get the job done. But, sometimes you need this. Sometimes you need a little humbling game like this where it lets you know hey, you need to step up. But, Harden wasn't great, only 17 points. So just, Maxi only had 8 points. So when two of your three best players don't show up, doesn't matter who it is, you're prone for upset. And this is what happened today. But Orlando, like I said, almost everyone in the starting lineup with double figures, except for Gary Harris, who had 9. But, Wagner, Franz, had 22 off the bench, obviously led by Paolo with 29. Moritz had 22 off the bench. Franz had 19, starting. I keep forgetting that the brothers are on the same team. But good performance, good win for a team that their record doesn't indicate that they're good, 20 and 31, but they're a lot better than that record. And like I said, good things going to be happening in Orlando if they figure it out. We've been used to Orlando kind of just messing it up. We're so used to them messing up, especially when they have a good team or have their superstar Shaq, Dwight. But it definitely feels like you know things are changing there. So good things. Good thing, especially if they hit on this pick, man. They hit on the lottery. They get the number one pick or something right now. Man, it is definitely going to be uh, some really good things happening for them. So good win on the road in Philadelphia, 119 to 109. Let's go to the next game. Let's talk about the Lakers and Nets. Nets 121, Lakers 104. There was no Anthony Davis. There was no LeBron James. I guess you want to call it load managing. We talked about that a little bit yesterday. But the Nets, obviously no KD. Kyrie had 26, 6, and 7. Westbrook almost had a triple double with 17, 10, and 8. And I believe he got into the top 10 in assists. I could be wrong, but that was an accolade for Russell Westbrook. Um, Kyrie has been playing phenomenal basketball since KD's left, but you know, and he wants an extension. That's going to be, very interesting to see how the Nets go about that. As of now, I don't think they're not discussing it, just from reports. But he's playing like someone that should get a contract extension. But obviously, we know Kyrie. There's a lot more that comes with it. But he's a hooper, man. He's a hooper, man. He's so much fun to watch and all that. And I haven't heard anything from him as far as anything else off the court that doesn't really matter. But Patty Mills had 21. The bench played really good. The bench was good. Cam Thomas did his thing with 21. Watanabe had 12. You're seeing a little bit more of the young guys. Dayron Sharp, is someone I feel like they can really use. He's a big body, showed, has a lot of skill, second round pick. He was a second round pick. I think he was a second round pick from coming out of UNC, but he's a big body. I mean, he's 6'8", 6'9", 260, 265. Someone that I feel like they can use. They need some umph down, especially in the paint and all that. Claxton had 12 rebounds with a block, so good performance from the Nets. The bench played really well. But then obviously Lakers did not have a lot of their guys. No AD, no LeBron, so they fared well. Brooklyn gets the win. And LeBron James will be playing today against the New York Knicks as he inches closer, to breaking Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's record for most points in NBA history. I think he is 117 points away from breaking that record, that's still wild to think, LeBron James is on the verge of breaking the record. Like any games, well, especially with his pace. I mean, he's getting 40 a game. That's maybe 3 games away. You say count the game against the Knicks. Let's say he gets over 30, and then you have, just to look at their schedule quick. They have the Knicks. I think, which is smart. They're trying to. I think more of him not playing against the Nets was like, okay, he's gonna get 30 plus. He's gonna get 30 against the Knicks. That means he'll either break it against the Pacers or the Pelicans, or he'll miss the Pacer game and play again. They want it at home. I think they want the record at home so that they're trying to play it out right. But so 117 points, the next 3 games on the road. Obviously they're on a road trip, 5-game road trip here. They've lost, their first 2 road games, but the Knicks tonight, Pacers Thursday, Pelicans, 3-game road games, 117 points he could break it in the next 3 games at his pace. So, we know how he loves to play against the Garden. So, we might get 50. He might be able to break it against the Pacers at this point. But with some of his scoring performances, but the record is coming to, it's closing. And what's crazy with this is that with LeBron, with the way, I mean, he hasn't slowed down. He's still one of the best players in the league at his age. There's a possibility he's going to get 40, 41K. And the way the game of basketball is being played now, and with load management and guys not playing, and we're trying to reduce games, that might be, maybe in my lifetime, a record that we might not see broken. So LeBron James approaching, Kareem's all-time record in scoring 117 points away from breaking it, man. It's going to be a very iconic time, iconic moment. It's like he's a special player, man, and I think we just did to appreciate it. And who's this guy? I think we got to get the spam account, the spam bots out of here. Lakers by 8. Yeah, it looks like spam. Yeah, I won't even acknowledge that comment. Yeah, definitely spam. But you know, he's just a tremendous player. I think we just need to appreciate him. I know we like to hate on him, but let's appreciate LeBron for what he's doing. Special things. But uh, Lakers not so special. Lakers not so much special, but knowing LeBron, he might go off today. But let's get into the next game. Let's go with the Wizards defeating the San Antonio Spurs 127 to 106. The Wizards end a 22 game losing streak at San Antonio. Obviously, these aren't these aren't the Spurs of old and all that. And let's see the spam, man. Spam. These. I don't even know what does that mean. I'm not very familiar with today's lingo. Spam these nuts. Seems very inappropriate. Definitely gotta. Once we get more leveled up, get some moderators in here to block the spam. Block the hate, guys. You don't need that. People trying to build a channel, and then you get comments like that. It's just unnecessary. Spam these. I don't even know what that means. What does that mean? Very inappropriate. Probably a Lakers fan. Definitely a Lakers fan. Definitely a Lakers. Maybe a Canadian Lakers fan. Those, I don't know if you ever met a Canadian Lakers fan. Man, they cry. They cry so hard. Lakers fans, period, do a lot of whining, especially with the LeBron James. But Canadian Lakers fans, if you ever met a Canadian Lakers fan, they're rough. Canadians, period, are some of the most kindest people. But if you add Lakers fan with Canadian fans, with just being a Canadian, this is the rough combo. That's the rough combo. So, if you ever met a Canadian Lakers fan, God bless you. Yeah. Yeah. I guess so. Maybe you fit the criteria, man. Maybe you do fit the criteria. But yeah, Canadian Lakers fans, rough combination. Rough combination. Rough combo. They still can't appreciate Kawhi Leonard. And I love Kawhi Leonard. There's a guy that I know that at the network is maybe the biggest Kawhi fan I know. Last name Murphy. Big Kawhi fan. Big Kawhi. But the Wizards take care of business 127 to 106. Ending, like I said, winners of 6 in a row. Winners of 6 in a row, playing some good basketball, playing some really good basketball right now. And I think right now they're, and this is a team that we talked about before that maybe a bubble, maybe a team that's going to be sellers. But right now, I mean, they are in the 9th seed right now. So they're in the in the play-in. They would take on, I think, the Knicks. Right? The Knicks, they would have played. No, they play the Hawks right now. If they're playing the Star right now, but improving. I wonder what they're gonna do at the deadline. I wonder if they're gonna be sellers or with this win streak, it makes them believe that they can, be a playoff team. So interesting times. We'll see what happens with the Wizards, but a big, dominant win versus the Spurs. Obviously, the Spurs are in tank mode, but all their starters in double figures for Washington. Denny Avdia, 25-9. Then seems like Denny is figuring things out. It definitely feels like Denny, his last 4 to 5 games, I think he's in double figures. Like I said, he had that 20 rebound game, in the beginning of the year. So Denny's definitely playing some solid basketball and seems like he's figuring out he's a great rebounder. But the shooting seems like it's coming along a little bit, and I'm sure that's good. He was a high pick for them, and I think I saw a couple Wizards people going at it. When they should have took this person. When not 2020 draft alone is a draft that I feel, especially that was the first draft I really covered, and that draft really tested a lot of scouts that I talked to. I had a bunch of scouts on, a lot of people on during that time, and that definitely tested people. And I learned a lot from that class. Just diving into the draft since pretty much 2020, 2021, 22, and obviously this year going on. It really tested you because you did not have a lot of information. You couldn't visual, obviously, COVID restrictions. There was no workouts, Zoom workouts, and all that. That's all you could see. But that really tested people. But it seems like he's coming along a little bit. He's coming along a little bit, which is good for the Wizards, good for their future. And maybe he's a piece that they can probably flip, and see what happens. But they take care of business 127 to 106. Keldon Johnson for the Spurs had 26 points. Zach Collins off the bench had a double-double. So Sochan had has been very impressive this year. Jeremy, I wasn't crazy high about Jeremy. I didn't know if the offense would that was probably his biggest swing was the offense and shooting. But I mean, he since mid-January, I think he's had double-figure points in every game. Obviously, he's getting a bigger opportunity because the Spurs are not good, but he's playing good ball. I mean, 30-point game against Phoenix a couple nights ago. He's definitely better than I expected. Definitely better than I expected. I thought he went a little high, but maybe he's proving me wrong. So Sochan pick, nice, another good piece they have. They have so many nice pieces, that they could build, yeah, I may have maybe not have seen, thought the offense would come along. I thought he'd be a nice, like a Boris DL type player. And he still could be that, but the offense seems like it's better. It's coming along a lot quicker than I anticipated. So, but he's also on the Spurs too. So, what better program to go to help improve that than, they saw what they did with Devin Vassell and improve his shooting, his mechanics and all that. So, and Devin Vassell's averaging what? Almost 20 a game. So, what they've done to Keldon Johnson, Keldon's another one, averaging what? 20 a game, 22 games. So they got some good pieces there. Good pieces. But let's go to the next one. Let's go to Kings 118, Wolves 111. Man, this one hurts me because I took the Wolves money line, and if this would have won, I would have won a nice, couple dollars. And but the Kings take care of business in overtime, 118 to 111. De'Aaron Fox had 32 points. Keegan Murray had a double-double, 13 and 13. Malik Monk off the bench with 19. Trey Lyles off the bench with 11. Minnesota, Anthony Edwards continues his surge to be an all-star with 33 points. Rudy had 19 and 14. All starters except for Kyle Anderson had double figures. Jalen Noel, who's been pretty solid this year. I like Jalen Noel. Kind of came out of nowhere, but a good player. They took a few years ago in the second round. Someone that's a nice piece, for them off the bench. Solid, had 14 points. So it was man, just tough. Personally, betting wise, it was tough, but they take care of business. The Kings, man, the Kings are third in the West. That is crazy. Crazy to think that they are third in the West. It has been a really great season for them. And it looks like most likely their playoff drought is going to come. Their 16-year playoff drought is going to come to an end, and that's good for them. But they take care of business. Trey Lyles is played solid for them, especially in OT, hitting some big shots in overtime. So good performance, good win for them on the road, taking care of business against the Minnesota Timberwolves. So let's get to the next game. Let's go to the Warriors defeating the Oklahoma City Thunder 128 to 120. Steph Curry with almost a triple-double with 38 points, 12 assists, 8 rebounds. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 31 points, 7 assists in this performance. Both teams shot the lights out, over 50% from the field, over 40% from three. So this was kind of, another shootout we saw, especially in the fourth quarter. It was a close one. But the Warriors take care of business against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Steph Curry trying to get back in that MVP conversation, But Klay Thompson also was in his bag with 28 points. Poole had 15. You know, then you had on Oklahoma City, Josh Giddey had 21 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. Isaiah Joe had 10 coming off the bench. Jalen Williams, the Arkansas Jalen Williams, had almost a double double, 12 and 8, solid performance, but couldn't get the job done against the Warriors. Warriors fifth in the West right now. It's crazy to think that 26-24, you fifth in the West. It's crazy. We're so used to not down, but a lot of parity going on out west. But they take care of business, 128-120. Next game, Mavericks Pistons. This game was fun. I mean, a lot of people probably thought the Mavericks would take care of business, just dominate the Pistons, but this was a game. And obviously, if you saw the game, you saw that Luka staring down. I think he was Isaiah Livers, I believe, and he was like, who are you? Because there was a lot of drawing back with the assistant coach and all that, and that was a mistake. Because Luka had 53 points. 53 points. Dominant performance. He is simply special. I mean, step back threes, get into the cup, couple dunks. He's just so much fun to watch. It is really he's special. If there's, I know I said maybe women, but if there's one player in the NBA that could break the record just because of how he's scoring and just the way the league is, it's probably Luke. I think that's the only player I believe that could have an opportunity to break LeBron's record at whatever 41K, whatever it is. It's going to be in the 40s most likely. It's going to be Luke. He just has, he's scoring at a crazy rate. I think this is 50-point game this year, something like that. But just a great performance, but once again, he didn't really get much help in this game. There was no Christian Wood in this game. Spencer Dinwiddie, he only had 12. Tim Hardaway only had 8. So that's why the game was so close, because nobody helped him. Nobody helped the poor guy. It's him carrying his back. And that's going to cost them playoff time, but that's a whole other thing. We can talk about the Mavericks, because that's a huge thing. But Detroit, Bojan Bogdanovic at 29. I mean, he's gonna be a hot name at the deadline. Sadiq Bey 18 points. Jaden Ivey had 14. Bench had a few guys played solid. Like say Livers, Isaiah Stewart, even Kevin Knox 7 points in 20 minutes. Kevin Knox getting some minutes. Which is he's played a little bit more. He's when he gets minutes, seems like he's doing something. He's so that that's good for them. But Luka, 53 points. That man is just simply so much fun to watch. He is special. 53 points for Luka Doncic. Suns 114. The Raptors 106. Mikal Bridges. Sorry, wrong Bridges. Ooh, don't want to mess that one up. Big difference. But Mikal Bridges had 29 points. Fred VanVleet had 24 to lead the Toronto Raptors. Toronto Raptors, every one of their guys had double figures in points, but the bench did not do anything. But good performance by Phoenix. Chris Paul 19-9. DeAndre Ayton at 23-13. He played well. Cam Johnson just had 4-point struggle from the field, but Damian Lee had 11. Dario Saric, who's been playing some good basketball of late, had 11 points. They're gonna need him, especially with no him, Damian Lee, Cam Johnson. They're gonna need to step up, obviously, with Booker out, and I'm not sure when Booker will be back. But a good performance, and wonder, like I've been saying, wonder what the Raptors are gonna do. Fred VanVleet's been in some trade rumors. There's apparently some rumors that the Clippers are eyeing Fred VanVleet. The John Wall stuff. I don't know if John. I think we might have seen the last of John Wall being a starting point guard in this league. They might not, and they're in win now mode. So it'd be interesting to see what they can do to get him. He'd be a good. He fits good well because he's someone who could play. Obviously what he could do with the ball in his hands. He could play a little off ball. Especially when you got PG and Kawhi. They can use a guy for everybody who can hit, who's made some big shots in the playoffs and all that. They can use him because I don't know. I don't think they trust John Wall, and he's not a great shooter. They could probably use some more shooting, and that's kind of been some of their Achilles heel in the passes. They got guys who could score. Reggie Jackson could score. Powell could score. Obviously, Kawhi, PG, two of the best scorers in the NBA, but they need a guy who you could trust with the ball in their hands and all that. And I know Fran VanVleet hasn't had his greatest shooting season, but still, when it comes to big games, he can hit some big shots. So they need someone like that who could trust, who has the ball in their hands, and let Kawhi and PG do their thing at the perimeter. So Fred VanVleet would be interesting. They probably got to give up some of their young guys. Maybe we're talking about Terrence Mann in that deal. Maybe we're talking about BJ Boston in that deal. But if you're the Clippers, I mean, it's all or nothing this year. This is a big season. Like you gotta, things got to get going. And if you don't figure it out, it's gonna be an interesting offseason. So a move that I think they probably should try to go after. I have a lot of Toronto Raptors players are hot names right now, but that's gonna be interesting to see. For VanVleet to the Clippers would be solid though. That'd be a good pickup. Good pickup for them. But let's go Trailblazers. I think this is the last game of the night that we're going to be covering. Trailblazers 129, the Hawks 125. A shootout. We got two guys. DeJounte Murray had 40. Dame Lillard had 42. Dame Lillard be putting up 40 and 50, and we don't be talking about it. We just be not talking about it at all. But Dame had a monster game. With 42 points. Just he does Dame thing. He's I'm wondering, will he be in the All-Star game? That's going to be interesting. I going to be interesting to see. But Jeremy Grant 22 points. Anthony Simons had 21 points. De'Aaron Sharp had 10 off the bench. Atlanta, essentially, Bogdanovich had 23, but there was no Trae Young in this game. So DeJounte was able to do his thing, but just not enough. It was not enough. Blazers take care of business, but the Blazers are in some news because some stuff with Jeremy Grant, who's been really good for them this year, but they offered him a max deal of 4 for 112. They could offer him, I believe, 4 for 174. I think the most he can make is like 225, which is crazy. Now he ain't obviously he's not going to get that. So they offered him 4 for 112. Could get 4 for 174 after the summer. Going to be interesting to see what he does. I mean, I think the deal he's getting is probably what he that's his market. That's who he is. I would be fine with giving him 4 for 112. 4 for 174. Now it's that's I don't know if I'm cool with that number. But a 4 for 112 for Jeremy Grant, who's averaging 23 a game this year, like borderline all-star player, like if you're Portland and you still want to go all in and try to make something out of this, I think this is a good move. I don't know unless Grant thinks he can get more in the offseason and all that, but if I'm Portland, I'm hoping if you're going forward with him and Dame and the core you have now, 4 for 112, that's a steal in today's NBA. 4 for 112 for a guy like that, that's definitely a steal. But I'm gonna see, what are the Blazers gonna do? I think I know what I would do if I was Portland, but they seem like they're just trying to keep making Dame happy and figure it out. But they're only want to look at the other side. They're sitting in 10th, 12th place right now. They're outside of the bubble. I'm so used to saying the bubble. They're outside of the play-in. but they're only a game out, and they're only 2 games out of being a top 5 seed. So a win streak away from being, right in the playoff hunt, right, in the top 6. So, I guess they're going to keep going, and that's going to be a lot of teams. I think we're going to see a lot more teams in it to try to go for the mid playoffs, So I don't know if that's the way I would go with this Portland team, because I think they capped out, especially a few years ago, but we'll see what happens. But they a much needed win for them, much needed win for them after, they got a bit of a, little bit of a slump, but much needed win. Dame did his thing, of course, dominant performance, so great win, and keeps them still in it. So we'll see what happens. But our NordVPN player of the night, NordVPN, new year, new deal, 59% off for NordVPN right now. Make sure to go to offtheballnetwork.com, hit the link below on the front page, and you'll get the deal. Helps us out a lot. So our NordVPN player of the night goes to, I think it's kind of obvious, the man, the myth, the legend. Just got to find the video.
First bench points in the game. I'm sorry, second player to score off the Detroit bench. Hayes had a 3. Speaking of 3, Luka hits 1, and it's the Luka show tonight in the first quarter.
Checking into this contest.
Step back Jack, looking for an exclamation point on his first quarter, and that is what we're talking about.
McGee finishes.
And here's another bam. This one from the outside. Drano, Luka, 3-pointer. Tough angle bank shot missed by Luka. Offensive rebound to White Powell. Green turned down a 3, made a long pass to Burke. Inside to Luka, and boom shaka Luka. He rises and jams it. Puts up a shot. 2 bounces off the rim. 10-foul rebound by Finney Smith. Here's Luka driving, spinning, shooting, and scoring.
Luka Doncic, our NordVPN player of the night, 53 points, a dominant performance in the win versus the Detroit Pistons. He was absolutely phenomenal. And another 50-point game in his record. Just, he's definitely in the category of being in the MVP discussion. And please help this man. Please help this man, Mr. Cuban. He desperately needs it. But we got to figure it out. They got to figure it out. So, but Luka Doncic, the OTBN NordVPN player of the night. And that's going to conclude our show. Another installment of the OTBN NBA recap show. Another one in the books. Appreciate anyone who tuned in. Appreciate anyone who supported. On that note, I'm Chris LeBron. Make sure to check out all the episodes of the Off the Ball podcast. A lot of great shows I've pulled out in the last few days. Got a great show lining up. Get a Bucket podcast returns this week. Excited about that. Stay tuned. Got a lot to talk about the world of college basketball with Kev. A lot of great stuff. Make sure to check out our guy Kenneth Cotterell with his morning. He wakes up early. I think he's one of those I think he's one of those Canadian Lakers fans. So they like waking up early, really early but he's pretty good at this betting thing. So I think you should check it out. He does it every morning. I think 7:30 a.m. Check that out. You can find that on the Off the Ball Network YouTube page. If you're watching this on the Off the Ball Network YouTube page, appreciate you. Our subs count has been going up. Subscribers, appreciate everyone who subscribed. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you put the notifications on. Make sure you leave a sub. We're trying to get to 400 by, I think we could get to 400 in 2 weeks. I think that's sustainable. The goal is to get to 1K by the end of the year. I really, really, really think that is a very possible achievement. So help us get there. Help us get the 400 by in a few weeks. But make sure to check out all the great content Off the Ball Network. Make sure to subscribe. Anything else, check out the merch store. It's in the links in the description. So appreciate everyone's support. But on note, be well, be safe, take care, peace out.